Good morning, Morai v'Rabotai. Be'ezrat Hashem, Mincha is going to be 7 o'clock, and the early Minyan is going to be 6 p.m. Hayom Shenayim ve'esrim Yom LaOmer Shem Shelosha Shavuot ve'Yom Echad. The learning today is Ilu Nishmat Eliyahu HaKohen Ben Mazal, sponsored by the Chanimo family. Further sponsorships, please contact Rabbi Babayev. As we were discussing yesterday, the Halacha Chacham Ovadia says that if you have a smudge of ink on your hand, you're allowed to even directly remove it, and most certainly you're allowed to do a netirat yadayim. And he says it's not similar to the case where you have letters written on your hand, where a person has to be careful not to dry his hand when he does the netirat yadayim, and he most certainly would not be allowed to erase it from his hand. However, a smudge is not the same thing as letters when it comes to this prohibition. From here, there's a real good question that's very applicable to women, especially if a woman wore makeup from before Shabbat, as it is a known thing that it is asur for women to wear makeup on Shabbat, for the very simple reason that they're violating what is called tzovea. It's rabbinic, it's not Torah violation because the skin causes it to dissipate over time. It won't remain indefinitely, like tzovea would have been an indefinite thing. Usually you paint walls, for example, you paint them for years. But when a woman puts on makeup, it's maybe a matter of days at most, maybe a day, maybe 2 days at most. So therefore, it's a rabbinic isur to put on makeup on Shabbat. But the question isn't that. Let's say she put on makeup before Shabbat. Would she be allowed to remove that makeup on Shabbat? That's a real question in halakha. Is it similar to the case Chacham Ovadia says that you're allowed to remove a smudge from your hand, or is there a distinction? So interestingly, Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach talks about this, and many other poskim as well. And this question has two sides to it. There's different opinions. Some opinions hold it's asur, some opinions hold it's mutar. The halacha lemaaseh, because there's room to distinguish, since the skin, makeup is generally done that way, it's intentional. As opposed to a smudge on the hand, it certainly wasn't intentional, and it's not a normal thing. So of course you're going to remove it. The removing is definitive, as opposed to makeup. You take it off, you put it back on, you're always intending to put it back on. There's room to distinguish. So therefore, halacha lemaaseh, the ruling is that although there is some basis to permit removing the makeup, however, halacha, you don't remove makeup on Shabbat, you make sure to plan ahead, unless there's a very big need. Let's say, for example, half the makeup really intensely got smudged, and it's a question of embarrassment. She's afraid to show her face in public because the whole makeup is already smudged and it looks not respectable, and it may be a matter of kavod habriot, so then there's room for leniency. But otherwise, it would be asur to remove makeup on Shabbat. Is not the appropriate thing to do because there are strict opinions on this matter, and Chacham Ovadia did not really make clear what his position on this is, and therefore, lechatechila, you don't remove makeup on Shabbat, unless there's a case of serious need in terms of kavod habriot. The way a person looks is just can't walk out outside, and then be'emet there's room to be lenient under those cases. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.